This is the Reflector Reflections podcast. My name is Annie. Join me as we travel around the world, talking with fellow human design reflectors as we experiment and navigate with our unique design. Angels, happy Mother's Day. I wanted to do a really short, though you never know, it mightn't be short by the time I'm done. I really wanted to do a short podcast just honoring the journey of parenting, honoring this journey that I've been on, as well as many others in this space, as reflectors, honoring our parental journey. Now, I have an episode coming out with Lacey Weiner. Lacey is also a parent to 5 million children, as am I. And Lacey and I really got into a discussion quite a number of weeks ago now over a Facebook post that was put out, and we both spoke into it. And so this is us actually exploring, it's a 1.5 hour podcast. I'm trying to condense it a little bit, but it's a beautiful gift because it also allows us this space to share our journey as well and talk into it. And we're not the authority of that, at all. It's just opening the conversation for others to be able to explore their journey into parenting. And so for today being Mother's Day, well, Mother's Day here in Australia, and I'm fairly certain it's in the UK and in North America. I apologize if it's not Mother's Day for you, wherever you are. So happy belated Mother's Day if you're in a different culture than us, or you celebrate a different day. I know here in Australia, Father's Day is always a different day for us than it is everywhere else. So it's just weird. But anyway, getting to the point, what defines a mother? What defines Mother's Day? And when I say Mother's Day, I really want to include those who identify as parents who are parenting through the lens of being a mother. So as just for context here, as somebody who has been a single parent for a very long time in my past life, I was always the mother and the father. And so sometimes, when Father's Day would come around, I'd feel like I also deserved that. But look, let's just take one day per year for us to explore this. So being a parent as a reflector is a very interesting challenge. And I have, over the last 5 years, really tapped into that because my work, what I do in the real world here, outside of all of this podcast, I work predominantly with women through pregnancy, postpartum chapters, and death. And that's a big gamut of things to explore. And I feel like it's who I am because I can see all these chapters that we become. But speaking to the mother and Mother's Day and becoming a mother and parenting, are very close and dear to my heart. And so I wanted to take some time today to really honor that and appreciate the journey that we all go on as parents, specifically mothers, through the course of becoming a mother, and give a little bit of context back into the matrescence as well as Reflector. So matrescence is technically the making of the mother. And a lot of times when we're growing up, regardless of our upbringing, regardless of our type, we are growing up with these ideas, these values, these dreams, all of this stuff that's in our head. And a lot of us in the past, not so much now, were raised with the notion that you grow up as a good girl, right? You're a good girl. You grow up and you educate yourself, or you don't. Some of those before the time of education, and you acquire a a husband, and you become a wife, and then you become a parent. That was your goals. So for the course of time, that's kind of shifted a little bit. And a lot of us have, pushed against that stereotype and going, well, I'm more than just a mother. But what happens for us, and I've spoken to not a lot of you, but few of you, when we get into this mattressing space, is as humans, as women, as beings, we are one way. We're navigating our life. Here is our path. And then we become pregnant, or somebody in our life, our partner, is pregnant. And before you know it, you've got this other being to look after. And you imagined your life. So this is the first split, right? This is the first split. You imagine your life was going to be this, or you're going to be this parent, or you're going to do this. But when you became this parent or this mum, then it wasn't like what you imagined in your mind. And human design is very much like this in a way, what I have found. So this is the first cracking. Like when we're speaking to the mother, when we're speaking into this, in this part of supporting parents through their journey of becoming a parent, or their journey of becoming whatever it is, then there's this cracking. And in human design, you have a cracking as well. And in parenting, you have a cracking. And the cracking comes with what you thought it was going to be, what you dreamed it was going to be, to what it actually is. And these two parts of self meet, and they don't want to mash up. They just don't, because they're complete polar opposites sometimes. So I always say to people, what did you imagine that your parenting journey was going to be like? Or what did you imagine that your life was going to look like? And so let's use human design here and parenting. Imagine, what did you imagine that your life was going to look like as a human when you were 9 or 10 or 13 or however old you were? What did you set and you go, this is who I'm going to be? This is what my life's going to look like. As a parent, we look at ourselves this exactly the same way. We go, well, when I grow up, I'm going to be this kind of mum. I'm going to be the mum that stays home and looks after the kids, and that's going to fulfill me. Or I'm going to be the mum. I'm going to keep working, because my process and who I am as a person means more to me than anything. So one, we've got a belief system that starts here. But what happens when we enter into the process is it's like, so using this example, let's use the two lenses here of human design. Human design says, well, you're this. Well, what did you imagine your life was going to be? I'll use an example for me. I imagined I was going to be a very self-sufficient person. I was going to be a very successful businesswoman. This is when I was younger, and no one was going to get in my way. Me now, meeting myself when I discovered human design, was very much like, oh shit, I actually need people. I see all of those things that I wanted to do, but I need other people to fuel me, because I can't do this on my own. Or I'm actually better behind the scenes because I can see more. Whereas if you put me out in front of people too much in a managerial sense, I buckle and I can't keep up. Parenting, let's use that example. Parenting is the same. I'll use me as an example here. I'm actually a terrible example, because I never wanted to be a mother. I have 5 million children, but throughout my whole life, I never wanted to parent, I had no desires. Here I am. I have 4 children and 1 grandchild at the point of this recording. So my past self was very much like, I want to be selfish. I want to look after myself. I don't need anybody. But I now realize I do. And I actually am really caring and nurturing. And I'm all about the other. So there's these meeting of the perception of self and the reality of self. So prior to learning about human design, let's use reflectors here, you might have thought that your life was one way and you were trying to do things, whatever it is. And then when you find human design, you're like, oh, it makes sense. I understand. I get it now. And it's this part of you that needs to be in that space of acceptance, to go, my ideals, who I thought I was going to be, is actually not who I am. And so you meet yourself. Here's the split. The split goes, but can it meet itself? And most of the time with time, you can meet yourself because you understand that this is a split. But until someone like me or someone like other people tell you that it's okay to have this shift in identity, to have this shift in self, you will constantly feel like you're inadequate. You're not good enough. You haven't fulfilled these purposes. So mothering and as a reflector can be this double whammy of self. And I want to honor this moment now to honor you as a reflector parent. Because even if your life whole dream was about becoming a mum and being the best mum that you are, and I know you are, there's still a part of you, always and forever, that will be constantly evolving and shifting and adapting and changing. And that can be really difficult. Our deep need for time and space can be a constant, like meeting the split again, meeting this, I know I shouldn't want this, but I do. And you're constantly meeting yourself with these separations of what you think you should and what you actually really should. So mothering as a reflector can be an overwhelming experience because we're not giving ourselves what we feel we need. We're giving ourselves what we think we need. And that is coherence, for lack of better words. That is this amalgamation of like understanding who you are. So honoring all the time, or traversing self-acceptance and self-knowing and feeling into who you are, is a really beautiful gift to self, because finally you can take a few of those like lenses off or rose-colored glasses and go, well, I actually need this. For me to be whole and being, I need this. So reflectors being completely open. As parents, we have this openness that can go a couple of different ways. So we can amplify our family's emotions, our children's emotions. We can become really ingrained in our children and what's happening for them, because we can't separate from what they need and what we need, or who is them and who is us. At the same time, we can also become very wise. And this is the gift. We can become really aware of the needs of our children, the needs of our family, and go, I understand that this is what they need. So again, it's about this meeting in the middle of going, well, when am I actually experiencing too much overwhelm and something that isn't mine? To use a pen example here, we have this ability as reflectors to be able to grab hold of things in life, emotions, senses, feelings, pressure, identity, thoughts. Well, we also have the ability with these open centers to be able to turn and release it. It's not ours. We can let it go. As parents, when it's in our orbit, day in, day out, up all the time, tending to our children, it can be felt like it's consistent because it's a day in, day out. But by using things that can allow you to release and drop, you're letting go and you're not attaching to your trials emotional wave, or you're not attaching to your child's full will. You're acknowledging that that's them and that's not you. So we have a choice. We always have a choice. But as reflectors, there is this journey for us where we are often our family, we are often our children, and we can't help that because that is who we are. However, we can learn, and as parents, as all parents, regardless of type, we all need to learn this to identify where we end and they begin. And a part of that in the reflector journey is about self-acceptance. It's about understanding who you are and taking small moments of time for you to be you. And I know, with all my million children, I know how hard that is to carve out time for yourself. But it might be 5 or 10 minutes where you can go and put your feet on the earth, on the grass out the back, and just breathe and look up at the sun, look up at the moon, look up at the stars, hug a tree, plant a plant. These small moments that connect you back to you are really, really valuable. And they allow you to become or be in energy with yourself. And when we're in energy with ourselves, we can understand where, our family or our children are not taking and pushing and pulling from us. Not taking, I don't mean it in that sense, but where their energy is and where yours begins. And so you can come at this from a really objective and observing level. We learn to navigate with each other's energies, but we also need to teach our little people our energy. And my children are very much taught that I need space. But I also know that my son, with his fully defined will center and he's a manifesting generator, he really needs a lot of closeness. He needs a lot of touching. He needs a lot of personal one-on-one time where he feels really important. He is the most important thing. He is the most important thing. But sometimes I can't gift him to that. My daughter, on the other hand, she's a splenic projector. These are the ones living here with me at home. She needs a different level of being. And the way that I speak to them is very different. But I also teach them how to speak back to me. And I will say to them, I need some time. I have my own room. I know that I'm privileged and not everyone can afford that. But there's space and time that you need as a reflector to feel who you are again. And I know that's hard. It's easy for me to say, but it doesn't have to be. You can carve out 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. It could be your favorite colored pen that you like to write your daily notes on. So don't discount these small things. These small things matter. When we're parenting, these small things matter. Everything matters. Enjoy the podcast with Lacey coming out. We get into a lot of this. I think it's probably rehashed. We get into a lot of this, but it's really a beautiful way for us to start opening the conversation about being parents, to navigating parenthood. No one's got the right of it. We're all just doing the best we can. So I'm sending you love. Thank you.